Hello, and welcome to another episode of Hacking with Friends. My name is Cody Kinsey. I am a security researcher at Varonis, and this is Michael, my co-host and our chief dongle examiner, who today is going to be helping us through our new format, which is very cool. So it has been suggested to me that we don't just cover one tool and kind of focus on taking up an entire 45 minutes or so, teaching you guys how one particular thing works that we spend maybe an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours beforehand making sure works. Instead, what if we just try some tools and see if they work? And of course, I did cheat a little bit with this because these are some tools that I have been dying to try out. But, I find that it's fun for us to go through and show a little bit about how we find the tools that we cover.
Right.
And some of what we're going to go through today is both available on KitPloit, which we're going to explore, but also is available if you just follow some really great researchers on Twitter. And this time we're going to be following a project by Sami Kamkar, who is fantastic. Lots of people know who he is because he's done lots of really, really cool projects for a very long time. I remember him as the person that disrupted MySpace temporarily.
Yes.
So we're going to be taking a look at one of his projects today and seeing exactly what it does. And we're going to take a look at Webscan. We're going to take a look at also something that allows you to generate an anonymous email address from a terminal window. So you can use that to sign up for websites. You can use it to do verification. It's really cool. And I think I might even use it to send emails to from the Grabify link today that we're going to be trying out just to see what's possible with regular web tracking and then what Sami has been able to figure out.
And if I understand correctly, one of the more important takeaways today would even just be the simple of where do you find new GitHub tools? Because it can be pretty time consuming to dig through GitHub and be like, okay, well, do I sort by number of stars? Do I look for things like in Python? I know a little Python. How do you find new stuff that outside of word of mouth, right?
Yeah, in fact, I'm almost tempted to just go to GitHub and once this finishes loading. Okay, do you want to switch over to my screen?
Sure.
If you just type hacking tools and then, oh no, that's me.
Can you make that full screen?
Yeah, I can. And I search this in all of GitHub. You're going to get a bunch of crazy results. And some of them are updated May 20th. What you tend to find is that as you scroll down, you'll see these projects that look really interesting, but are either totally broken or haven't been updated in a very long time. So also there are words that are extremely popular. So if you're looking for hacking tools, do you mean pen testing tools? Do you want Python tools? And there's some filters over here, but in general, how I will find tools is I'll basically pick something specific and I'll say maybe Wi-Fi hacking. And then I'll go to all GitHub, and then I'll be like, all right, I just want to run stuff that's going to be really cross-platform and easy for me to install. That's
so maybe
typically
Python.
Python, exactly. And you can see it's also the most common result.
I mean,
and then I can also, I can do this, but this was last updated a year ago.
Yeah.
So is this project stale? Maybe it could be.
Usually, what kind of date range do you want? Do you like 3 months updated?
This is a topic of fierce debate between me and my roommate Brandon, who believes that there can be a project that hasn't been maintained for 7 years, still relevant. In my opinion, for security tools that are being taught to other people, they have to be updated within at least 1 year in order for me to consider it as a project that is up to date or maintained. If a project hasn't been touched whatsoever in a year, even if it's just to update the README and acknowledge that it still exists, to me that's a big red flag. This project from 2017 could be great. I have no idea, but I assume that it probably isn't great because anything that is attacking current technology using software that was written in 2017 probably isn't going to work anymore. The libraries have changed. Wi-Fi standards are even changing. So this many years ago, it could still work, but at this point, it probably uses an older version of Python. It probably uses, of course, it also uses all these libraries that have been updated and probably work differently. So the problem is people who are going and looking for, interesting hacking tools to find or to try out are going to find a bunch of these that seem cool. But then in the end, it doesn't work, and they're confused as to
what
why.
always would frustrate me is you download it, and it'll sort of start working, but then usually there's some dependency error, or the output is just gibberish or doesn't make sense. In fact, you're a little more lenient than I. I like to see something that's been updated at least within like the past 6 months.
Yeah, like I would say so. Like that's not an unreasonable standard. I would just say I wouldn't rule it out. I'd at least try running it if it's like around a year. But if it's older than a year, I'm not even going to bother.
Yeah.
So another thing I started by is recently updated. So my magic formula for finding interesting programs to try out, and of course don't run just everything you find on GitHub because that's a great way to get your computer backdoored. But I'll search for recently updated, and then I'll look for stars and see how many people have like been interested in this project. Like this one has 77, and it was just updated 12 days ago. Maybe I should check this out. Maybe this has something that I haven't seen before. So if I just like open this up and take a look, then I can see, in fact, like, wow, this has pretty good documentation. It seems like the features.
I love those little videos too at the top.
Yes,
I was going to do a Nullbyte article on that at one time. I mean, just on how they make those.
Okay, so when I say there's lots of words here, I haven't read any of them. Like,
yes.
No need to ask Wi-Fi password. Hack it. This cybersecurity tool, will hack for you any Wi-Fi password. ... exclamation point.
I feel like English may not be that person's first language.
Yes, and don't forget to say thanks me. Yeah, thanks you. But yeah, so like I've never heard of this tool. It looks like there's a class of tool that you'll find that's just basically like other tools, and then it's all stitched together with Python.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
I'm not saying that this is this project. I haven't even looked at this project. I'm just saying that a lot of times you'll find a tool that has like a moderate amount of likes, and you look at it, and under the hood, it's just like 37 other security tools all mashed together with Python, and it works, but it is ugly, and it's like kind of unremarkable in what it does. Again, not accusing this project of that, just saying. So if I was going through here looking for something to work on or something to teach, then I would just start looking for a large number of stars and a project that has been recently updated, because it means maybe something has been added or something has been changed that would be relevant. And that's really the process that I go through on GitHub in order to find tools, or at least it was.
But is there something better than GitHub?
Yes, sort of.
Well, better to find GitHub tools with than the search bar.
Well, for security, arguably. So I've been having an ongoing debate with the community. There's some people, I think they're especially like around like the thug crowd like group that like do not like KitPloit and think that they like they're unfair to researchers by basically like having advertising on their website while they're including the GitHub instructions on somebody's tool that they put on GitHub. I have written several tools that were featured on GitHub. Or on KitPloit via GitHub, and for me, like, for one, I don't make money off of this, so it doesn't really matter in the first place. That's the first disclaimer. For another, when I write tools, I want people to use them. So having some website take my tool, copy the documentation that I just put on the README, and then put it up with a link to the GitHub, even if they put advertising on that, like, I don't care at all, because for me, like, it just means that like it's another tool other people can discover, and if they like it or they think it's useful, they have more opportunity to contact me. Other people feel like this is a problem. I kind of understand why. I still can't quite wrap my head around like what's offensive about it, like myself, because like I think that it's a good way for other people to get started with this. But let's go ahead and go over to KitPloit.
Yeah, I was going to say, can we show this website off so people understand what you're talking about? So if you've never heard of this website, essentially what they do is they aggregate interesting security-focused tools from GitHub. So they'll post what appears to be an article. It's not even really an article though. It's basically just a copy paste of the README from the GitHub.
It's not basically. It literally is exactly a copy paste.
Yeah.
So here's the deal. KitPloit does not post good tools all the time.
They post all the tools.
They post whatever tools they find. I wrote a data scraper that just looks at data in the city of Los Angeles and pulls like restaurant license information to tell you who owns like a business or like something like that. So it's like very liberal in terms of like what will grab and feature. Some of these tools are not done. Some of these tools do not work. Some of these tools are old. Some of these tools are new. It really is a grab bag of different tools. And just looking at any of these, I cannot guarantee that any of these actually function because they don't test it. I'm 100% sure they don't test the tools to make sure.
They post way too many to have actually tested them. But that being said,
no. I have tested them and they do not work. Like I've run many tools.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
That are not finished.
Yeah, they post so many that they definitely don't have time to
Yeah,
check them.
yeah,
all.
yeah.
But the thing I do like is that it, in a way, does crowdsource the testing. So if you notice the bar on the far right, that's the popular ones. So that
How do people vote?
So I don't think that's voting per se. It's just like which ones people are viewing the most.
So which pages have the most traffic?
Yeah. So I think it's at least it's an indication of what might be interesting. And then I think the other valuable benefit is the top bar where they break them up into the kind of like topic areas.
That's true.
So that, if you're looking and you're like, hey, I'm bored of the OSINT tools I'm using. I want to try to find some others. Like, you can look through those and it'll at least have...
There's no OSINT tab.
Oh, yeah, you may have to search that one. But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
For like OSs or SQL and stuff like that, they'll have tabs.
Yep. So there's some stuff that immediately sounds cool. Like, let's take a look. StegSeek. World's fastest StegHide cracker. So StegHide is another tool for hiding stuff in an image, chewing through millions of passwords per second. So StegHide is basically something that allows you to set a password and then encrypt something onto an image. It's a way of hiding information that I think we've covered. So just looking through, you can see that they've literally just copied and pasted like the documentation. And if I go down here, it kind of like, I'm like, wow, it's so well documented. Like these KitPloit people really have their stuff together. And then at the bottom, they're like, yes, I know. That was the punchline.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you for jumping ahead. So then we get to the bottom and we see download StegSeek. And like, wow, this sounds like a commitment. What is it going to be? A zip file? You click on it and it just goes to the GitHub. And then, as Michael so helpfully pointed out, this is literally just the exact same text that they copied and pasted from the README. So in fact, this could even be an automated process where they just like scrape things that reach a certain threshold. But yes, as you can see, like most of the value of this is not really in the website here. There's no way to vote. There's no way to see comments because nobody ever comments on KitPloit. Really, this is just a link to the GitHub page. And from that point, you got to kind of take it from there because KitPloit spends no time testing this and no time like looking at the documentation to see if it makes like any sense whatsoever. So there's lots of times when like I'll be here and I'll like, I'll look at like the documentation on KitPloit and be like, wow, this sucks. And then I'll go to the documentation on the GitHub and be like, wow, this also sucks. And there's nothing else. And like, it's literally impossible to install the program with the information that's included in the README. There's just like not enough. It's like there's no requirements file. So like it depends on a bunch of stuff that's not there that it like cries out for one by one, and you just have to figure out by the errors like what software you have to install to support this package. Like why would anyone ever want to do that? Like there's just like a lot of really messy projects that end up on here. But I wanted to show you some of the ones that kind of caught my eye, and then we're going to go through the ones that I actually cheated and tested to make sure that they worked. But I thought that they were so cool that I didn't want to waste my time. And frankly, I spent 2 hours on some other one that I thought was going to be badass and cool and ended up being stupid and lame. So I wanted to spare you guys that experience because it really sucked. And
well,
in the future, you'll be along for the whole suck because that's what our producers are trying to talk me into doing. So hope you guys like watching me get very angry
more
at
about
computers.
the journey, Cody.
The journey of me getting us like kicked up from like PG-13 into like NC-17 with my language, like because this stuff's not working.
That's putting it mildly. I've
Yes.
seen you very upset at computers before.
Yes, I'm considering starting a new TikTok series that's just places without computers. Let me know if you want to see it. All right, so if we just go through, first, just let's scroll through this. I just want to show you guys how this is organized. Like KitPloit is organized in a kind of silly way. There's just recent posts, and if you go through, you can quickly see that like there's like advertising in here that's confusing. So if you go through enough, you will eventually just see advertisements for like the Brave browser, and then just like random security companies that are not security tools. So just be aware that like it's just like random and confusing that sometimes you'll get ads. I actually think that my ad blocker is blocking it, which I think is hilarious. But if I get rid of if I were to open this in incognitus mode.
Yeah, because that looks actually
full
pretty
ads.
clean.
Full ads. No, I think
Did
it's
you
still
actually open it?
Yeah, I even refreshed it, but it looks like it's blocking it. Whatever. I'm not going to complain about not having ads. But what's cool is you still get to see a very short summary of like what each tool is. And that can be just enough to determine that it's something that you want to mess with. And you can quickly check to see gping ping, but with a graph. If it's useful, or if it like how I don't totally understand how this is security related. Maybe it is. Maybe you're doing some advanced timing attack that is a precise signature, and you're looking for that these double domes over here to let you know that like you've got some sort of security condition going on. I don't know, like, but it is here. You can see whether it's useful or not, and you can very quickly just go here, click on the download, and it just takes you over to the GitHub. I wish it would just say go to GitHub.
That being said, though, if you were looking for, let's say, a new Wi-Fi hacking tool, where would you go first to try to find something like that? Here, or would you go to Google or the GitHub search bar?
Probably I would start in KitPloit, because a swift run through KitPloit is still better than like an unpleasant stumble through like a GitHub search, because at least it doesn't repeat itself.
Oh, does GitHub repeat itself?
I mean, if you keep searching for the same term, like let's say that it's been a month and you want to go back and find more interesting hacking tools. You run the same search term on GitHub and limit it to like things updated. You're probably going to find the same updated projects and maybe 1 or 2 new ones. On KitPloit, you're going to see like 50 new projects, but like only 2 of them will be useful. Like, but at least you'll check out some other ones that might grow up into something more cool, and at least you can assess whether or not like some of the stuff that's out there is really a good idea. The one thing I don't like is KitPloit doesn't share stats from the project, so you have no idea if it has a lot of stars or if nobody's ever seen or heard about this project and it's just like a wasteland. I know that like for some reason like almost 1,000 people I think like follow me on GitHub, which is hilarious because most of my scripts are just shit posts. But I have written enough and featured it on enough episodes of Nullbyte that people follow me. So when I start a project, generally gets enough likes that like KitPloit just automatically decides to like feature my stuff. And it's not good. It's like very basic Python scraping API stuff. That's like not.
Yeah,
not
I've
good.
just back when I was writing Nullbyte articles, I would often discover that with KitPloit. Like you're like, oh hey, this sounds pretty cool, and then you dig into it and you realize like, hey, wait, this is like a super basic Python script that someone just wrote up in like 15 minutes.
Yeah, and sometimes you look at like the screen name of the person that wrote it, and it's like it's a date that must be a birthday that means that person is like 16. And I'm like, oh, this person's in computer science class, and they're doing this for a project, or they're born.
Yeah, no, like one of my favorite ones like that was just a tool that sends out random DNS queries, so that it makes it harder to track like where you're actually visiting. It was basically working on the principle that you could make so much noise in the DNS request that you couldn't find where the user was actually legitimately going to. So I even modified it. I like just loaded in the 1,000,000 most popular websites on the internet, and then essentially it would just navigate like 20 layers deep in that website, sending all the DNS requests needed along the way.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I've been.
So you find a lot of tools that are like really basic random stuff like that on KitPloit. It doesn't mean they're not good and they're not interesting. It's just a mixed bag that you find there.
Yeah, it's not dependable, that's for sure. So I've been on this page now for quite some time, so I'm going to explain why I'm interested in this. It's okay. So going through KitPloit, one thing that I found, aside from, all right, so this was one tool that I kind of wanted to investigate, but it also requires you to install a bunch of stuff. So like anytime I see something that warns me about all the stuff I have to install, I pretty much instantly lose interest unless the thing that we're about to do is insanely cool. And in this case, like steganography is awesome, very cool. We'd love to do a demo, but I'm also not willing to install all these random packages that are going to take forever. So for me, that's a pass. However, if I want to assess whether or not this project is worth following up on, we can just go here and see, all right, does anybody care about this project? Yeah, like yes. Yes, it has like almost 100 stars.
And it's
like
within 5 months, it's been updated. So that's good for me.
They at least did a banner. That's a good sign.
The pro tip I have for people writing GitHub tools is make it as dead simple as possible to install. Like if I can install it with like 1 or 2 lines, like a curl or something, like lazy me's gonna like that.
Yeah, so this I'm not gonna do this. Like it seems like it's like a very early beta and this person's not worked on it in 5 months or 4 months, and like that's fine, but like they warn at the bottom that it hasn't been tested yet, or it hasn't been battle tested yet. So I'm just gonna go ahead and
what does that even mean?
Who knows? So over here I also have Tempomail. This one I wanted to try out because when you need to sign up for a new service, what do you use as a throwaway email address?
Usually, honestly, I have like older Gmail accounts that I created
No.
a while back.
No, that creates a footprint.
Yeah, I know it's
Because
bad.
those are real accounts.
I know there's like those 15-minute mail kind of websites.
Yes.
And stuff like that that you're a lot more into.
Yes.
But generally, I don't like sign up for a bunch of websites that I. Well, I guess.
Well, you don't sign up for anything. When you go to the website, it
Yeah.
generates an email address for you that only exists for 15 minutes. So like if you need to, let's say that you're at I don't know, a certain security vendor that likes to put their content behind like
a paywall.
A paywall.
Yeah.
Then like, yeah, you could just put in this like gobbledygook email address.
Yeah, no.
Or if you sign up for a burner account, let's say that you're like doing an investigation, or if you just want to create an account that's anonymous, then this is something that you could do that does not link back to an account that links back to 17 other burner accounts you've made since the time you were 16.
Yeah, one of the more annoying things for me in the corporate world is when they have information that's valuable, but it's behind like an email sign-up wall.
Yes.
Where it's like, you must sign up for our newsletter to get this information that you want on this one product. But then you don't want any of the other spam mail that they're going to send you on a newsletter kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. So these are all things I like to see. This is a standalone binary that allows you to create a temporary email address in 1 second and receive emails. It uses 1 second mail's
1 second?
API.
That sounds very ambitious.
Yep, and no dependencies required. Is it too good to be true? Is it backdooring us? Probably, but let's try it.
Okay, no, that's actually an important note that I hear people talk about a lot, but I don't see people really showing it off. This is like, if I wanted to check a GitHub tool for like backdoors and stuff, like, how would I do that? Like, what would I look for? Do I have to go over the code, I'm assuming? Like, especially, you know, for a newer person, maybe they don't know all the programming languages. What's your advice there to make sure you're not like hacking yourself?
Upload it to VirusTotal if it's a binary.
Okay. Yeah.
Other than that, like make sure you trust the source. And if there's any sort of verification, like a hash or something like that, try to verify it if possible. But if you're just downloading and executing a script, like I guess you can like upload like the Python file, but it's like, you know, it's like, it's not like a binary. So it's kind of hard to look at it, especially if part of the file is just like download this other file. Yeah. Unless like the IP address inside it is blacklisted, like it's so easy to obfuscate that stuff that like you kind of got to either look at the code or just trust the source. And in this case, because we're going to a bunch of random stuff, and you could very easily just take over a bunch of different like GitHub accounts and make them all like something. Like it would not be difficult to get somebody to install some program that does one function but then installs a backdoor. So this is why primarily I recommend people use a different computer for all the important stuff they're going to be doing, and then for running like random security tools. Like you don't know exactly what a tool is going to be doing unless you go through the code and look at it yourself. Yeah. Depending on the type of language. Again, if this is a binary and it's signed like with like a hash or something that you can go and compare and make sure it's the same one, then like that's great. And then you can upload that and see if like it's in VirusTotal, although there's ways of obfuscating that too. It's really, if you're running like code that hasn't been authenticated and you don't know the source, that is a threat. So you should probably be doing that in like a virtual machine on a Raspberry Pi or something else that like isn't going to get you in trouble if you destroy it. Yeah, honestly, back when I would be writing like how-to guides for these types of tools, I know it's completely overkill, but what I would do is I'd just get a completely fresh Raspberry Pi image install and put it on a Raspberry Pi and then install it on that, partially because of the security concerns, but then also just because there's so many steps that are often not well documented on like installing these tools, and it was always nice on a fresh install. It made sure you had to do every step for the install. Oh boy. Yeah. Well, okay. So I installed this from GitHub. These steps all work. So let's go ahead and go to my terminal window. I'm going to make this much larger. So that looks like a pretty basic install procedure. Like git clone, move to repository, run some command. It's this one. Okay, so... Whoa, that's all small. Yes. All right, so this is it up and running, but let's go ahead and... You cheated, Mr. Kinsey. Well, I had to make sure it worked. Otherwise, I would waste all my time running something that doesn't work because it's what KitPloit is. So first we do our git clone command. Very simple. It's going to argue with me and say, hey, oh, no, wait, of course. Never mind. I'm doing it on the desktop now. So this is what it'll look like. Oh, do you have it running in a VM? No, I don't. It's just installed elsewhere.
Gotcha.
So we go ahead and cd into the folder we just created. I'm lazy, so I just copied and pasted that. No need. So then we do go build period. It'll go ahead and build it. Of course, I already have this, so I don't need to move it over here and do this last step. But then I can check to make sure that it's working by running this right here. And you can see that it's waiting for a path string. So it wants to know where to save the emails to, basically. So once it's running, then it looks like this. I have 2 emails, and I believe that they're hidden. So let's do this again. And let's see, Michael, in your window, can you go ahead and go to twitter.com?
Sure. What am I doing at twitter.com?
All right, at twitter.com, we're going to try to sign up.
Oh,
So
God, you're going to give me some weird email.
yes, so go ahead and start signing up for Twitter. Pick a really good screen name, and just tell me when it asks for, well, just wait after that. So it wants us to add the -- path flag.
Okay.
So,
it asks for a phone number, so I'm assuming.
great. Wait right there. So don't do anything else. There's a small link underneath that if you'd read it.
Use email instead.
But don't click that yet.
Oh. Okay. It just lets you go back and forth.
You're terrible at following instructions.
I'm
Okay.
sorry.
All right.
I'm the worst.
Yes. Okay. So.
And we're still showing your screen, by the way.
Yep, I know.
Okay.
So, all right. So this is what I'm going to do. We can see where basically we're going to put this with the dash path. So I'm going to run this with dash path. In the documentation, it says dash. So I don't know why I was only using a single one, but whatever. And then where am I going to put this, huh? I'm just going to go here, and here's Tempomail. I'm going to stick this here, I guess. Get this out of here. All right, there we go. Oh, I full screened it. That's why. Okay. So I'd like to just drag and drop this because it's easy. All right, so I have the location I want to put it.
Oh, I didn't realize you could do that. Nice.
Input name.
Input name. So you want
Buck Nasty.
Buck Nasty. Yeah.
All right, now, so we now have Buck Nasty Buck Nasty at onesecmail.org. So go ahead and enter that in. Enter that in.
Okay.
And you can see we don't have anything here. Sad.
It's .com? No, .org.
Tempomail.org.
Okay. And then I'm just gonna, random birthday. Wait, no. Probably should make the...
Yeah, please make it not crazy. So Michael's now creating his very special account. Go ahead and go through.
It's not liking something. Next. Sign up. Verification code sent.
All right, it's party time. So now, hopefully, yes. Look at
Whoa,
this.
that actually worked.
Right? Isn't
That's
that
pretty cool.
Yeah.
And all from the command line.
All from the command line. So I'm going to type ls. Oops, ls. And it's not here. All right, so now we have to go hunting. So, all right, it's for whatever reason, it's on the desktop. Even though I didn't tell it to go there, it's on the desktop. So cool. Or maybe it just goes above the folder I tell it to. Oh, no, it's probably, I'm just naming it Tempomail, and it's going to the desktop? Yes, that's what happened. Okay, so here you should be very specific because the last part of this, it thinks is the name it should use. So how do we read this email?
I'm assuming there's some command that's listed on the GitHub page. That's probably something really stupid like read.
In a separate window, this is dumb. Cat, and then I'm going to drag and drop this file. That's it. That's it. Our Twitter verification code.
Do we want to actually sign up?
Yeah, switch over to your screen, please.
Okay.
So now we're signing up for Twitter using just the command line. It's 718722.
Yeah,
Never share this code with anyone. Please don't hack our account, you guys.
Okay. And then I'm going to move away from
No, put in a password. Make it password 123.
Okay.
See if it stops you. Oh, I'm so sorry. Make it password 123456778. It's got to be long enough. Twitter security.
Where did you say to stop?
8.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah!
Hey!
All right, skip for now.
Skip for now.
Describe yourself. Wait, no, go back. Can you go back?
I can't.
Okay, you have to change it. Okay, all right, just skip for now. Okay, just next. Skip for now.
Okay.
Okay, now go to your profile.
That's right down here, right?
No. It's the thing that says profile.
Oh. Yeah, sorry, I'm not, I don't...
Then edit profile.
Where?
No, up top right.
Top right?
Fuck.
Setup profile.
All right, now
Skip for now.
skip for now. All right, skip for now. Now there, put sassy, comma, classy, and cool.
And cool.
Yeah. Okay, save.
Period.
Yeah. No period. All right, next.
Next. Done.
Done.
Okay, see profile.
All right, guys, please follow us on Twitter. We just created our account. We're really excited to be here, and it's going to be great. So I found that actually, if you do some suspicious stuff on Twitter, it will eventually try to make you...
I'm going to switch to your screen.
Yeah, sure. It will eventually try to make you do more. So, for example, like I uploaded a picture that was in the public domain as my profile image, and it was like, all right, buddy, you signed up with an email address. It seems sketchy. You're uploading like a bunch of weird like profile pictures. Like this seems like maybe you need a phone number. So there are some services that will still flag you or be able to detect that like maybe other people have used this to sign up and it's fraudulent. So be aware that it might be on some blacklist, and it will continue to be on blacklist as it gets more and more popular. But yeah, all in all, I think that this is super, super cool, and this is all done from the command line. So,
sorry, I was looking up 1 second mail, and I couldn't find it readily available. What I would love is a browser-based extension.
Why?
For this.
Why?
Just so like whenever you
There's
click,
it's just 10-minute mail.
is it?
That's
Well,
the thing.
okay, that works then.
Yeah.
Because I would love it if when I click on a email field for any sign up, it gives me like a drop down menu to assign a random email. That would be pretty cool.
That's the thing.
Okay, make it so. Give it to me. Share it with me.
Okay, so anybody who's cool and wants an actual command line tool to do this, maybe automate stuff, just like be punk, like cyber about it, then like this is your tool. If you want to be like a lame nerd about it and have like a GUI experience, then you can GUI it up with Michael's preferred 10-minute mail, which admittedly does something very, very similar and allows you to see it in a nice configuration for babies who are scared of the command line.
Baby hackers.
Yeah, but if you're, if you just want to be,
I mean, there's no need to
threatening
be
to the people behind you at the coffee shop.
needlessly obtuse and use the terminal.
Oh yeah, hackers hate the terminal for being needlessly obtuse. That's their
And I
biggest
start a
complaint.
flame war in the comments.
I feel like you're going to be in the losing side of this one. So then let's read our say, hey, Twitter sent us an email. Dear sketchy account that was created, be a Twitter pro, give us money. What happens next? What's a hashtag? Oh my gosh. What do all these icons mean? What is an emoji? Am I going insane? What are the signs of a stroke? Okay, well that's great, Twitter. Thank you so much for all the information.
Okay.
But anyway, as you can see, this tool is great. We now own this awesome email address for as long as I keep running this program.
I was going to say, how long does it persist?
I mean, until I do this.
Oh, really?
It's destroyed.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty
So like somebody
interesting.
else could have that email address now. Don't email us there. I'm not going to reply. You email each other there. I don't care. But yeah, overall, this tool is great. By the way, you can't email from this account. You can only receive email to this account. So keep that in mind. This is useful for verifications, but you can't use this to like harass a governor. So don't try. All right. So back to the tools.
Yeah. Is there any other documentation, like other things it can do, or is that it?
That's it. That's
pretty cool, though.
The whole shebang. But yeah, I think it's pretty awesome.
Are they using like an API?
Yes, they are. They're using 1 Second Mail's API. So 1 Second Mail has their own deal, and I guess they have a well-documented API that this person used to just create it. And I have to say, this is a really cool project. So
yeah, maybe we could fool around with that for one of the live streams.
Yeah,
Just
automating the creation of email addresses and stuff like that would be cool.
Yeah, if y'all aren't familiar with working with APIs, we have 2 live streams about that. So I'll try to link those in the cards above. But I could definitely see like playing around with that API using like Postman would be fun.
Yeah, so the next one we're going to cover, I actually found out about on Twitter a couple weeks ago, and it popped up, of course, on KitPloit because like this is, it's what they do. So so this is by Sammy Kamkar, and this is a really cool network-based browser. Browser-based network scanner.
Oh,
There we
okay,
go.
that sounds a lot cooler
Yeah,
than what
there
you
you go.
said.
Network-based browser. Well, actually, I mean, if you really think about it, that would be awesome. But aren't all browsers?
Yeah, that's why I'm like,
Okay.
I don't understand what it does. But okay.
So what this does is it basically allows you to, from just a website, so let's say you're hosting a malicious website, see all of the internal devices on someone's network. So the way that routing typically works is that you have internal IP addresses that are created with network address translation. So basically you give yourself more addresses on your local network to get around the fact that we kind of ran out of IP addresses with IPv4. And what this is able to do is it's able to get through your router's firewall, open up a bunch of ports, and be able to figure out what other devices on the network are available to be connected to. So if you think about Shodan as being bad because it can detect devices you've directly connected to the internet, this is far worse because it detects devices that are not connected to the internet at all. In terms of directly connected, they are connected to your router, which is supposed to provide a shield, like a firewall, to prevent something from being able to scan them or determine, a list of everything that's on your network. So imagine if I was able to figure out that you had a webcam that's vulnerable on your network, open up a port to it, and then send it an exploit, or do some other sorts of recon that could be really, really scary and damaging on an internal network that has a firewall that thinks that someone can't see inside of it.
Yeah, and so does it let you do anything like past that? So it just performs a simple scan. It won't allow you to do like ARP spoofing or anything affecting the network?
You are a random website on the internet. There's no reason you should know that person has like a Wi-Fi connected adult toy at their home.
Okay.
Like we're talking like the ability to find every IoT device that person has down to the brand and the services running on it. In fact,
crazy.
like it could allow you to locate where that person is potentially. Like there's lots of different stuff that could happen depending on what you're able to access and what kind of access you're able to get to. So
how detailed is this? Is this like running Wireshark on their system?
No. So this is just recon for finding devices on the network. Okay. So I want to compare it to Grabify. So Grabify is a tool that was written by one of our friends, Joel, and MyDougal.com will be our thing we're creating a tracking code to. And we're going to create a tracking code here. Oh no, now I need, wait. Yeah, sure. Create URL. I agree and create. So I'm going to use...
And if you are not familiar with Grabify, I think we have a live stream on that in the past as well.
We sure do. I hope that Grabify still works though. Oh wait, it's blocking trackers. Well, all right.
You gotta love your security blocking your ability to, do the live stream.
No. Sometimes, I like to give a shout out to Joel because I love his project. But also sometimes it does this, and I just straight up have to go over to Canary Tokens. Yeah. So as you can see, we're having a hard time with it. Oh no, it wants me to do work for Google's AI. It wants me to find trains. All right, that looks like a train. This is a bus.
I love how much harder these have gotten over time as well.
That's a train. That's a boat. Is that a train? It's hard to say. That might be a train. All right, let's go. Joel, I don't appreciate training some future driving machine or something or Terminator. Okay. All right. I'll stop complaining. So we have this tracking link now, and I'm using a VPN, so it's going to think that I'm in some random place. But what we're going to do is, Canary Token. Sorry. We're going to go to this Grabify link, and it should go to mydougal.com, and it should drop some info. So, okay, all right, okay, cool, great. And then if we go here, we refresh, we should get some basic info about my computer, but nothing private, not my private IP address. That's, I'm using a VPN. This is supposed to protect me. So a Grabify link is able to see, this might be a VPN or proxy. So it's actually been able to determine through some fancy stuff that I may be using a VPN. And that's really cool. So It gives me a IP address, a date, time, location. Again, this is fake. Mac, it's sure it's Mac OS computer by Apple. Okay, and then we can see it's some random VPN host. Okay, interesting. So that's cool, but there's also this button I can press to kick things up, Smart Logger, which does more of like a JavaScript style scrape, which includes extra information, which we're going to.
DuckDuckGo.
Yeah, I've switched from Google. They started creeping me out. Their search results are not always great. All right, so we're back here, but that took a little bit longer. And if we refresh here, we should see more information about the person that clicked. That being me. Hopefully, if it. Whoa! All right, so here we go.
It looks like a little bit more.
Way more information. So we can see more information, including it's not a touch screen, it's an Apple device, the operating system, whether I have an ad block or the screen size. So if I change this resolution, I mean, this is stuff we've covered before. But what's interesting is that sometimes this can also grab an IP address, an internal IP address. But if you're using a VPN, it's going to be some random IP address. It's not going to be your real IP address. I was actually hoping it would display that. It didn't come up with it this time, but whatever. Typically, it'll be here under like a WebRTC leak. Maybe I'll make a canary token as well. Let's do a slow redirect. Oh, and this is where all the projects
comes up with a metric boatload of information.
All right, so now I've got my Dougal at onesecmail.org. I'm going to sign up to create this friggin' canary token.
Oh my god. You're using the tool we just covered to create an account on a tool we previously covered for a live stream that we're currently doing.
Yeah, if you think that's meta, wait until I redirect it back to the token I created here. So now I'm just going to take this token and then pass our canary token through this token, which then goes back to mydougal.com. It's a big Dougal loop. All right, so now we're gonna take this. We're gonna go here. All roads lead back to MyDougal. So we're gonna go through the canary token, which then goes through the through the Grabify link, and then back to yeah. Okay, sweet. All right, so let's go over to my Dougal account and do I have anything? Was anything recorded? Come on, every 5 seconds. Yeah, sweet. We totally do have something.
It does seem like it takes longer than a second. I guess
5 seconds. It's every 5 seconds. That's why.
But it's called 1 second now.
All right, we got something. So we can see that we were able to get some information, but it wasn't a lot of information. And we can also get the link to manage our canary. Thank you so much, my Dougal mail. And if we go here, we can see our canary. We can see that someone has connected to it in its history. And beautiful Salt Lake City, how the weather's so nice here. I'm just trying to see if we can have like a WebRTC leak or if that's locked down here. So typically, like, we'll be able to see like a little bit of IP address information. But this is pretty good. Like, you can't really tell that much information. Like, you certainly can't tell any devices I have on my network or anything. So thanks to Sammy, I can no longer say that. So this is Google Chrome. It is fully updated. I'm going to go ahead and do an incognitus window. And then I'm going to paste this, and we're going to go here. And let's take a look at what happens. So it started doing an iterative scan to attempt to... Let me enlarge this.
I was going to say...
So it started doing an iterative scan to attempt to find my subnet range. Once it finds the subnet range, it will then start to look for every possible IP address on that subnet range and attempt to open a connection with them. And if the device responds within 1 second, then it will move on. It will assume in less than 1 second, that it will say, hey, this device is on the network. So once we find these hosts, you can see right now.
I was going to say, you must be connected to the actual network and not our
there we go. Look at this.
studio network.
Sure. So here we can see that this is my local IP address. This is something we didn't know before.
Yeah. So, wow. How is it doing this?
Right. So it's iterating through every single possible IP address until it finds it's the own IP address of the system. So I just basically made a map of my own internal network, and I can see how many devices are on it. And what this is doing is it's sending fragmented packets. This is such a cool thing. It's like basically figuring out where my router starts fragmenting packets and then sending a packet which when fragmented, creates a command that opens up ports inside your router. So that you can start like poking around and like looking for stuff on it.
Okay.
So this tool is absolutely wild. And you can see it's just like iterating and making all these requests. I kind of wanted to do Wireshark, but I honestly have no idea what we would see on it. And I don't want to have Michael have to blur all of it.
Yeah.
But, well, maybe I will.
No.
Yeah, sorry, Michael. Whatever. Wireshark has been failing constantly anyway.
We're almost out of time, people. No. JK.
Yeah, Wireshark can't even see this stuff. I have to sudo it lately. See? It hates it. Ever since I updated macOS, it doesn't want to do that. But it's okay.
But so does Sammy give the code then to actually run this on your own website if you wanted to?
Yes, it's on GitHub.
It's pretty cool.
Or at least I assume so.
I think it would be...
Here we go. Take a look. All right, this is all the sketchy stuff that Sammy's doing on.
It would be really interesting to integrate this with like a canary token. So if you could integrate this into the slow redirects they do.
Okay, cool. So it's found. So these are then devices that have ports open on the network. So
that's a port number that's open.
Yes.
Okay.
So here's what it does. It iterates through a list of common gateway IP addresses. It uses fetch to use John.
No.
Is this making you sleepy? I'm gonna tell Sammy that you were like
no, Sammy. I swear.
Sorry,
I love
Sammy.
Your
his research
tools.
was putting your research was putting Michael to sleep, but I'll try to wake him up so he can get through.
You got to get me excited.
For each IP, use fetch or IMG tag to fake an HTTP connection to a common gateway IP. If TCP reset returns, the fetch promise will be rejected, or image tag one error will trigger before a timeout indicating a live IP address. So that's how it finds an IP address. To prevent the browser or network rate limiting, non-responsive fetch sockets are closed via a Burke controller signal. When the live gateway is detected, step 1 to 3 reran for every IP on the subnet. So it's looking for subnet ranges where there might be other devices on it. A web RTC data channel is open on the browser, opening a random port on the victim machine. So that allows us to actually have contact with this device. For any IPs that are found to be alive on the subnet, a web RTC data channel connection is made to that host. If the web RTC data channel is successful, we know we just established a connection on our own local IP. So this also works on Chrome, Edge, Firefox, other.
So you could use this then to pivot into the network. Is it actually like opening the port to any code running on the website? Does that make sense?
No.
Doesn't make sense?
No, it doesn't make sense.
Okay.
Opening the port to code running on the website. So
So like
so this is opening a port, but it's not actually connecting. It's not sending anything to the port that's going to like do anything to it.
Gotcha.
So this is just looking, but this is looking in a way that you shouldn't be able to on. And it also is enough to definitively fingerprint someone. So let's say that like you're Mr. Cool Guy connecting to Tor and VPNs and stuff, and like you feel like a real hot internet guy coming in and saying mean things to people's children. But then, in fact, like the entire time you've been doing that, maybe if a website has this feature or is able to do this, it's able to fingerprint your local network. So no matter how much you're changing everything that's going on, you might have a significantly unique enough settings of like random, I don't know, like IoT devices and stuff that have taken up different network ranges, that it would be correlatable that like these are different IP addresses that you use, even if you have several that would normally be disconnected. Because let's say you just have an unusual IP range, or you're doing this from school, and the school has like tons of different devices on the network, which would provide a very specific fingerprint.
Yeah, I would say if you're using a non-standard range, so the standard ranges for like local would be 192.168 or like 10.0.0.
Well, if you have a guest net that has certain devices on it,
well, that's what I'm thinking is like, well, my thought is if you had one of those two standard kind of network configurations, then with the DHCP and just devices joining and leaving the network normally, it should create enough entropy to like make it harder to fingerprint.
No, because each device has different services running on it.
Oh, okay, I see. So there's like another layer.
Yeah, so like not only do you have the IP addresses, you also have the ports on each IP address. So if each IP address has like the same or similar ports and services running on it, then I can say with pretty good confidence this is the same guy.
Right.
Because I know, he has like a webcam running like these ports, he has this router running these ports, and that's enough entropy to make it more fingerprintable. So I just have to say this like blows my mind, and this is working through a VPN to scan my local network. This is not my website.
I think that's very important to note too, like through a VPN, because I think there's this myth that people get in their mind that, oh, I'm using a VPN, I'm invincible, I can never be hacked.
Yeah, no. This is a
true.
really good example of how a website can start digging around and finding more information. So we use two different tracking links to just show like what you can expect a website or somebody who wants to track you can see. But what most people wouldn't expect is that a website can actually take a peek into your local network and start digging around there. Maybe they want to know about vulnerable devices running services. Maybe they want to just know a fingerprint of what your network looks like, or figure out if you're shifting IP addresses, who you are. Like there's lots of different interesting things you could do with this. And I think it's really, really cool that networking allows you to basically like bust open a bunch of ports in someone's router by sending these like fragmented packets that are doing interesting things when they hit.
Something occurs to me too is like on the fingerprinting note, like, you know, if you were using an anonymous form or something like that, where you're creating like random usernames all the time and stuff like that, this would still be able to identify you simply by going to that website if you had, like you said, enough entropy on your home network.
Yes.
Which seems like very interesting area to dive like deeper into. Like, could you unmask people based purely on this information?
Yeah, and again, this currently works on Chrome, mobile Safari, Safari, Firefox, Edge, Chrome. It works on all modern browsers. So this has not been patched yet. It's a really cool way of being able to use a browser to basically like nmap a network kind of. And I find that it's also a good way to find your network range if you have no idea.
So do you think this is going to be patched, or is
Yeah.
this like one of the unintentional features?
This is going to be patched.
Okay.
I feel like this is going to be patched because this is, but the problem is that this is on the router's end also, that this is that
Because,
some
you
of
know,
these problems are
everyone
caused.
uses the most up-to-date routers and installs every update available.
Yeah, so I'm not sure. I'm sure that they could do something on the browser's end that would break this, but also like the router's firmware like has some problems as well. And some of the research Sammy did for this was like actually getting into the firmware and reverse engineering the protocols to find out like why some things are working and some things aren't working. So it was really, really cool to take a look at the way that Sammy did the research on this, because I found it to be just an absolutely fascinating project. So it doesn't, you know, to a beginner, this might not like look that impressive, but trust me when I say this is a very cool,
Do you want me
very
to go back to your screen?
no, I was just wrong. It was a very cool, very impressive project. So if you want to check out Sammy's website, it's samy.pl. That's what I wanted to look very quickly. And that's somewhere you can take a look at Sammy's other projects. There are some really, really exciting ones that I want to do as well, such as one that allows you to basically like hijack another drone in the sky if it's using 2.4 gigahertz, using a Raspberry Pi Zero W. And there's some other really great ones.
The one I really like is the mag spoof. It's something I think has a lot of potential, but I never really played around with. But it basically allowed you to spoof a magnetic strip device. So a while back there were like a bunch of like credit card replacement type devices where it was like you could scan your credit card into this card emulator, and then it would just use this magnetic ring to create that same pattern, so you didn't have to carry all the same cards around. I don't know that any of that would be so interesting and more NFC, but yeah.
So, well, I think that's everything we have today. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. This, again, is a little bit more freeform than we usually do. We just usually pick like a tool and stick with it. But today, we just want to start like kind of going through stuff. So expect to see from now on probably more cursing, more me being angry at computers, and a lot more tools failing. Yeah. But if you guys don't mind that stuff, then we're going to try it out. So.
Yeah, I was going to say, let us know if you want us to go live and just spend 2 hours going through KitPloit, trying different tools, yelling at a computer, and y'all find that enjoyable, and y'all find the community and the chat enjoyable, then let us know, and we can start doing more of that.
You just talked me out of it, but okay, maybe not 2 hours. That's too long, but okay.
An hour.
Yeah, maybe an hour. But yeah. Okay, cool. So if you guys want to check out some other great content that Varonis has made, you can also check out our sometimes co-host Killian on the Threat Update channel, which is on the Varonis brand channel. You'll get to see a lot of really good updates on what kinds of threats companies are up against in the real world. So if you want to see what kind of malware and attacks real companies are up against, then there's a lot to see there. So
awesome.
Yeah, that's all we have. We'll see you guys next time, and bye.